Should we talk about the wedding?
It was the best, most happiest, joyous weekend of my entire life.
Thank you, chlo.
I'm dead fucking serious.
I know you are, because every time I would look at you over the course of the weekend, you would you had like doe eyes. You had this look in your eyes of like, this is it. This is it. This is what life is all about. That was the look in her eyes every time I saw her.
Kept saying to me like, you are so your purest form of chlo.
She looked like herself. I was like, look
so beautiful. Like it's my wedding.
You really did. No, but and Asha had that too, and Brandon had that. Every time I looked over at Brandon, he was like, look at us. Look at us. I was trying to say this and us at the same time.
Yeah.
Look at this. Like, this is it. And I think it's probably because, like, especially for those of us who have been in me and John's life, like, since I've only known us to be together.
Yes.
Or at least since we've been dating since as long as you've known me. This has been a day that's been like expected.
Yes.
It was
we made it.
Yeah, it was like a we made it moment for our friend group. It
was relief.
It was relief. And it was like, for you, I mean, we met when I had come, like John was in my life when you and I met or became friends.
A big reason of why we were friends.
Yeah. And for Brandon, like the first weekend, like welcome week, that was when John and I started dating. And Asha saw me fall in love with him.
Yeah.
Like all these people close to me, my old roommates, Briar and Gabby, like they were with me through, like all of these people, our siblings, our parents, like this relationship has just been such a staple of like my adult life.
Yeah.
And therefore my relationships. And it just felt like this culmination of like love in a way that was.
There's no words to describe the amount of love that was there and in the room. And I've said this to everyone, and I've said this to you guys in my speech and everything. Yes, I made a speech.
Yeah, it was perfect. And I held Chloe's hand the whole time.
Yeah, I was the most nervous I've ever been.
But you were perfect.
She wouldn't let me take a beta blocker, because when I take a beta blocker, then I get really tired and weird and calm, like weird calm.
Yeah.
Like silencio.
Yeah.
Bruno.
Like 50 BPM heart rate.
Yeah, like I'm like, yeah, we're chilling.
Yeah.
So it was like
I said, don't take a beta blocker. You won't need it.
I raw dogged the whole thing.
She did.
Okay, but I do want to say that if you haven't had the chance to see Emily and John interact in real life, even if you were able to watch the episode, I feel like you get a glimpse of it. But because I know you guys and I adore the two of you more than anything, seeing two people in love like that doesn't feel real. Like, you read about it, you see it in movies. Like, growing up, even with my parents, like that they're the first like couple, I guess, that you would, for me, that I would base like they're in love, they got married, they had a kid, like from the beginning, like, and they didn't like. Not saying that they weren't in love, but they didn't show love the same way that I see love from you and John. And to see love like that in person, it is truly the most, I can't even believe I get to be live a life in this same time as two best friends like that. Like,
wow.
It's really exceptional. And I think that a part of it that is hard for people sometimes to grasp in a friendship even. And I think subconsciously this could have happened to me as well, of the love that I've had in relationships is nowhere near a match that you and John have for each other. And at first I took that really like sad, but I don't think it is sad anymore. I think it's just like your two love is just on a whole other universe than love that I'm experiencing or that I have experienced. This is not to say I'm not beyond head over heels in love with my boyfriend. Like I am, but like it's a different kind of love, and it's not comparable is what I'm trying to say pretty much. Like you and John's relationship is uncomparable to anything I've ever seen or known. And to be at a place where we could like celebrate that for like 5 days in a row, it's just pure fucking fun.
That's so sweet of you to say. I mean, that's how I feel because I'm in love with him. But I also think we love each other this much and have since we met. And we met when we were really young. And I think that like meeting and falling in love so young is such a, like you grow up together.
Totally.
Like, and that was in my vows. But like it is such an extra, I think that's that. Yeah. What you're saying is just, that's really sweet of you. And I'm so in love with him. And I think it was crazy because the way you feel, I'm not even like just I feel like this could come off cocky and it's not meant to, but what was so crazy to us was that so many people on the day were saying that their favorite part was the vows.
Yeah.
And I think it's so rare, I would think, to go to a wedding and like as a guest have like your favorite part be the ceremony, but like
well, I will say sorry.
No, I was just going to say that I think that what you're saying makes me so happy, and a lot of people have said similar things to us who were at the wedding and since the wedding of just like the love you guys have I've like never seen. Like it was so special to share in it and celebrate it, and to hear like you say, like, you know, on your birthday you always see the common threads of when people like text you nice things, you see what people think about you. Seeing the reactions of people to our love was so heartwarming, because it's just like that's how I feel, and for it to be contagious and visible and shareable was like, oh, it's the most special thing ever.
Totally agree. And they're both writers, so come on.
Right.
Vows, like to hear from the heart, but also you guys both know how to put that into words, which is a really big talent that you both have. Like it just came across exactly what it needed, how it needed to, and what you meant. Whereas like I feel for a lot of people with their vows, it becomes very cliche and cheesy because some of us maybe wouldn't know how to write about love in ways that other people haven't, in a cheesy way. Like they take them from other things. Whereas you guys from originally were able to put pen to paper, thought to head, whatever the fuck. And it come out exactly what you meant. And so it was just like the purest form of like rawness.
Yeah. It was and
crazy. I didn't write my speech. ChatGPT did.
Really?
No, I'm kidding.
Oh my God, I was gonna say your speech was so perfect and felt like
so
you.
Fucked up.
I wouldn't judge if ChatGPT corrected it.
It didn't even.
Wow.
Marianne Contreras did.
God bless Marianne. But I was gonna say, with the vows and stuff, it was so important to me, and it was so important to John, and I think that, I guess that's just.
We could go on about the vows and that part. But I want to talk about, go ahead.
Well, two things. I was going to say with the vows and just with the ceremony in general, because my favorite part of my wedding was the vows and was the ceremony, because it was a day I had been waiting for so long in my life. And I had imagined that day and lived it in my head over and over. And like, I worked so hard mostly that week, but like in the month leading up of like, what am I going to say to this man who I love so much? Like, and then you kind of come to terms with like, all right, I have my whole life to tell you how much I love you. Like, this is just like, what do I want to say to you today as I marry you and as I like promise my life to you?
It doesn't have to be everything all at once. It just has
you don't
to
have to fit everything in. It just has to have purpose and I have no idea.
I don't even know why I said that. I don't know anything about it.
No, but I feel like I was talking to you about that. Of like, I realized it was like, oh, I don't have to like,
it doesn't have
fit
to be
how much I love you in this.
Pussy into it.
Right. And I even said in my vows, I was like, you know how much I love you.
Yeah,
this isn't about that.
That's not the point. Yeah, exactly.
But I will say it was so important to me, and it was so huge, and was a day I had waited for so long, that when I was up there, like during the ceremony, I actually felt like I was on mushrooms. Like it was actually
heightened sense of everything.
Such a heightened sense of life. I've never, ever, ever felt that way before, ever in my life.
Yeah.
I felt like I was on drugs. So much so that I actually had to ground myself, because Sam was talking, and so we had this like, and I know we're gonna wrap it up. I know we're like getting there. And we're going to do part 2 in the next episode. Don't you worry. But we were up there. We were in this beautiful, beautiful, beautiful hoopah, which our florist, shout out Made of Leaves, Megan Kramer, most amazing florist in the world, friends with Porch Finds. You know her. You love her. Book her. She builds us this gorgeous hoopah that was so lush. And it felt like when we were standing up there.
That's sort of like surrounding the altar, if you don't know what that is.
Yeah, it's basically like a floral
surrounding the altar.
And we're underneath there. It's me, John, and Sam, our officiant, DJ Good Attitude. And we're under the hoopah. And it was so, not only was it so beautiful, but when we were up there, I didn't think about what it would feel like to be up there, like flowers wise. And she built it so that it felt like we were in our own room. So we felt like alone and watched at the same time, which was like, what a feeling.
You want to know? I couldn't see any of it.
I know. Bridal party couldn't see any of it.
No, yeah.
I couldn't see Will.
By
I couldn't see
accident, we
anyone.
stood way too far.
Yeah, but no one, the groomsmen couldn't
because
really
of the flowers.
see either. They could only really hear.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
So then when you guys kissed, I was like,
hello? I know, and in the picture, you could see you're like,
I was like, I had to see. I had to feast my eyes.
But we're standing up there and Sam's talking and we're like in our own little room and I'm looking at John. I can see every pore on his face. I can see every hair of eyebrow.
Yes, that is a mushroom feeling when you like
every feature on his face was so vivid. And John and I always joke in bed. Like, I'm like, let's look into each other's eyes. And we're like, I can't. It's too intense. Never have we ever looked into each other's eyes so deeply and so fearlessly. I know I talked about that fearless sex we had that one time, but fearless was the word I would describe the way we're looking into each other's eyes, just nodding, just like, yes, this is the moment we've been waiting for. And Sam was talking and Sam had dry mouth, which like, cause he was so nervous, which like only I could hear his dry mouth, only we could hear it. But like, I could really hear it cause I was so mushroomy, like,
yeah.
And then I'm looking down at my hands. My hand looked 3 sizes too small. And I'm looking at it. My fingers look so tiny. I'm like, oh my God. I start salivating on one side of my mouth. My mouth is drooping. I'm like, I am fully tripping balls right now. Cause I was like trying to pull it together, listening to Sam, squeezing John's hands. I had to look at the ground and be like, that's John. You're holding John. You're safe. You're not gonna have a panic attack. That's how fucking intense it felt. And I will never forget it. It was so vivid because it was a day. And I kept telling myself, I was like, I can't believe the day is here. I can't believe I'm here. I can't believe I'm marrying John.
I know.
And then there was, and then, yeah, that's just what I wanted to say. I felt like I was tripping balls.
Yeah. And then post wedding, I was tripping balls.
And then you took mushrooms.
Speakerphone.
Hi, sweetie. We're recording. What do you have to say? You're on mic.
Hi for John. The peanut butter doesn't have any of that stuff, right?
Xylitol?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, xylitol. Is this a dog thing?
Dog thing, yeah.
Peanut butter's fine.
I walked away and she was like sleepy and excited about the peanut butter, but then I just got scared that I killed her.
No, she's been eating that peanut butter for days.
Okay.
But which crate did you put her in?
Back.
New dog mom.
Good, okay.
Okay, bye. Love you.
Love you, bye.
Dogs can eat peanut butter.
I know, but there's peanut butter with xylitol in it. That's not good for you. I have a feeling we need to wrap this up so we can move on to the next one.
Okay.
But I just want to say,
I can't wait to continue to talk about what happened after the ceremony.
Me too. Stay tuned. Shitty.